meeting to order. We appreciate all of you being here today. We thank you for your presence. Just one announcement this morning concerning the death of an employee, Mr. Alan Kay, whose employee at the Sheriff's Department passed away Sunday. His visitation will be today at 4 to 8 at the Rangeville Funeral Home, and his funeral service will be tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So we want to extend our sympathies to his family, and if you would, please stand for just a moment of silence in remembrance of Mr. Kay's passing, if you will. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you today for the many blessings that's been ours to enjoy. We realize that you know all things and know all about us, and in thy sovereignty and wisdom and purpose, thou hast helped us in providential ways that we don't understand today, but we pause in our busy lives to thank you for thy watch care over us, the umbrella of thy divine wisdom this day and every day. We ask you to bless the Kay family in a special way, the passing of Alan, and we would ask, Lord, that you would fill the void in their heart and soul with a portion of thy divine spirit, that they in a special way might set their affection upon things that are above. We thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We would ask you to bless our deliberations in a way that only you can. We are thankful that you taught us in thy word that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them are the called according to his purpose. And we acknowledge that this day. And as we continue in this meeting, would you honor us with thy presence? Bless what is said and done. May it redound to thy name's honor and glory. And we'll be careful to give you the honor and the praise that often. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Mr. Wright, would you lead us in our pledge, please?
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated, please. Due to the fact that Ms. Oscar is in Birmingham with her husband, going through some chemotherapy treatment, our minutes have not been typed, so I will ask a motion to table these minutes to the next meeting, please.
So moved.
Your second. Motion, second, any discussion? Minutes favor, let them know by saying aye. Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you, motion carried. The first item of business today is the Domestic Violence Council. We have Mr. Joe Brewer with us. Mr. Brewer, would you come? And we're happy to have you today, and thank you for your work in the area of domestic violence. We appreciate your presence.
Got your photo, I'm sorry. Before we talk about the domestic violence thing, just to kind of give you a little update as far as DeKalb County goes, we have 5,500 families on food stamps. It makes about 1,500 individuals for $1.8 million a month that DHR puts in DeKalb County for food stamps. Just to kind of give you an idea of the impact DHR has. Yeah. So we'll talk to you today is about Kelly's Rainbow and Alcohol. You know, back in the past, we had Rosehaven out of Gadsden that provided domestic violence shelter for DeKalb County clients. In 2009, that was closed. They had some money problems, so they closed it. And Albertville picked us up, Kelly's Rainbow. And so they provide the supportive services for DeKalb County. When Rosehaven had it, we had Olivia Cox was the person here in DeKalb County that provided domestic violence services for clients that needed that assistance, protection orders, things like that. After they lost their contract, she was not rehired. That money went back to ADECA, and her salary has never come back to DeKalb County as far as that goes, as far as being support for domestic violence. So Kelly's Rainbow picked us up in Albertville, and we had a domestic violence board a long time ago that kind of went dormant. In 2011, we have 7 deaths in DeKalb County, domestic violence related, husband and wife, different combinations. So at that point, Steve Whiting, an officer here in Fort Payne, contacted me about trying to set something up with the board. So we got together, we decided, okay, yeah, we would try for the board. So we set up the DeKalb Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And our primary purpose was to link community aware of the services available at Rosehaven, those kind of things. And I'm just gonna go through these attachments real quick for you, and just kind of look through them, I'll just kind of tell you what they are. 2009, 10, 11, 12, that's the number of adults that went to the shelter. Okay, you may look at that and say, okay, that's not very many people, but when they go to the shelter, they stay from 1 to 6 months at the shelter. So that's an expense. Every month they're there, water, power, food, paper products, all the whole 9 yards. So it's a pretty good expense if they have a Kelly's Rainbow. And that's just the ones that went to the shelter. That's not counting the ones that didn't go. Now the outreach side of that, that's the people that requested assistance with protection orders, stuff like that. In 2012, there was 216 requested assistance with that. I don't have the numbers for 2013. They haven't got them compiled yet. Just kind of give you an idea. I did talk to the Fort Payne Police Department. They have 98 incident reports and 6 arrests for 2013 for domestic violence. I attached a list of the members for the Domestic Violence Board. We have a good cross-section. We have the police department, we have the hospital, we have the college, we have DHR, we have some just citizens for the county. I have the point of contact for the people, the chairman and secretary, if anybody wants to contact those for any reason. I attached you a couple of the awareness walks. We have an awareness walk in 2012 and one in 2013, and they were over at the park. I just put those articles in there for you to look those over. When we first set up the coalition, there was no safety plan or nothing set up, so we laid up the flyers, the safety plan to give to the ladies, or husbands, families, whatever. Gives you all the numbers, what you need to do if you're going to try to leave your domestic violence situation. We did it in English and in Spanish, so we provide both those. Okay, we also provided a copy of this same package to each law enforcement activity in DeKalb County, the sheriff's office and police station, and the local police centers like Henry Ryder, Sylvania, those kind of things. I attached you a list of all items that they need to shelter all the time. We put this out pretty regular, different paper, newspaper, any place I go to a meeting and talk, I'll bring this with me and say, this is how we need to shelter. A lot of the churches participate and they bring paper products and things like that, but it's never enough to take care of the shelter. I attached you the September 2013 profit loss statement. Okay, that's a negative of $3,000 for September 2013, and projected for 2013 to 2014. They're projected at about 62,000 that they may have problems with. They put in for grants all the time. Mary Kay, just whatever you can think of a grant they put in for at the shelter. Yanni Bean is the director. She's real good about putting in requests. In the past, the county commission in Marshall County paid the payroll for the shelter. So that money is always delayed from the state office coming up to implement that kind of thing. So that 62,000 is probably a little worse than what it will be, but right now that's what it's projected to be. Also attached to you a copy of a prospective board member. If you have anybody that you know might want to be part of the domestic violence board, they can contact me or give me the application. I'll be glad to talk to them about anything that they can do. And on behalf of the Domestic Violence Board for DeKalb County, we just requested you consider making a donation to Kelly's Rainbow after the financial situation. That's all I have.
We appreciate your coming today, and I know that all that you all do down there is worthwhile to so many people. And y'all do a good job with that, and I remember back some years ago, I was on that board that you talked about that kind of faded out during all the reorganization. So I was somewhat aware of what you did. These gentlemen may ask questions concerning the operations, and gentlemen, feel free to ask Mr. Brewer what you need to do. It's a good program. We'll certainly take under consideration what you brought to us. And these gentlemen may ask questions for you.
I'm familiar with your operations through the United Givers Fund.
Right.
Served on the board for 25 years.
I have them listed as a donation.
People may not be aware that while you give an individual contribution to the United Givers Fund, there are provisions within their rules to allow for a specific contribution to your organization. So I would encourage people to consider that in addition to the
I've been dealing with domestic violence out through DHR since about 2001 when they first funded the Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Now, DeKalb County has always been kind of high in numbers, like 5 and 6 in the state as far as domestic violence goes. This 2009 number reflects, that's part of the year that Kelly's Rainbow took it over. That's the only numbers I have. I contacted Rosehaven, but that's all that's I can't get any copy of the information from those guys.
What kind of programs do they have to get the information out to the public that there is a place for people to go?
Well, this is a kind of what we do with the awareness thing. We get a couple times a year, plus or minus, we try to get the news articles in the paper. This is what's going on, this is where you can go get assistance. Okay, anybody coming through DHR, okay, domestic violence, affects all families. But a lot of them are families that's related to DHR. Food stamps, TANF, service, those kind of things. So anytime when we have a screening tool, we screen with. And so if we see it, they say they have an issue with this or that, we make a referral to Kelly's Rainbow. So there's probably something that we've done to help, kind of make them aware of that.
Well, we appreciate your work.
Any other comment, any other question? Mr. Brewer, we appreciate you coming to certainly take all this under consideration. And thank you for all your activity and work in this area. We appreciate all the people that you've been.
Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Next item is Revenue Commissioner Franklin. Ms. Oldham.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I'm asking for something. I'm always asking for something, aren't I? Anyway, no, I want to ask for Kelly Bryan to go to the intermediate mapping class in November. And then I have two people, Michael Wooten and Darlene Hunter, to go in January to a introduction to property tax administration.
Gentlemen, you hear Ms. Oldham's request, what leads to this position?
Move we honor her request.
Do I hear a second? Motion second, any discussion? Any favor, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, take objection. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Oldham. Road Department, maintenance update, Mr. Roll.
Good morning. I'll be real brief this morning. I think I told you at the last meeting, we had started our first of our CDBG grant roads, County Road 739. They are finishing up the grade work on it today, should be done with it by the end of the day. This was our first road, and it's kind of scary, but it went real well. Seems to have turned out real good. We started our second road this morning, started to reclaim Road. We're on County Road 714, which is just a few miles south of the first one we did. I'm hoping maybe to get it reclaimed today and tomorrow, and possibly be ready Thursday to start hauling some base material in on it. And hopefully the weather hold up and continue to move along. We have 5 roads designated. We're going to try to get done, and when we get those completed, if weather allows, if you wish to, we can maybe designate some more, try to do a few more, or stop and do some of our regular work. As you know, we didn't get to do very much of that this year because of the rain that we dealt with all year long. But, it's moving along real good. The roads look good, and probably got so late in the year, the weather's cooled off so much, I don't think there's any chance to get surface treatment done on them this year. I think we'll have to wait next spring for that. But these roads should hold up very well through the winter. But, we're continuing on with that. We finished up our herbicide second spray last week. Have that finished. I think some of the crews are still like a few days being done with their cleanup round that they're making. It's pretty much about all that I have going on. We are pre-mixing material on the yard. Y'all get a chance to come by and check that operation out. It's a pretty big operation, but it goes good too. We were able to process quite a bit of material in a day's time. That's about all I have for you as far as an update.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Any questions or concerns?
Tommy, you said starting on that storm road, that was kind of scary. What's the security about?
Well, it was just, I didn't know, we'd never done one before, didn't know how well it was gonna go, and didn't know what kind of obstacles we were gonna be presented with, but it's kind of worked out according to plan, and a lot of my stuff don't work out according to plan, so
So it went well.
this went well so far.
It was
vacancy in District 1 on one of our temporary employees, and I'd like to recommend Brad Young to fill that position.
You hear Mr. Broad's recommendation, gentlemen, what be this position?
I'll make a move, we accept his recommendation.
You hear a second? Motion second, any discussion? Any in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries.
I'd like to start him in the morning if I could.
Okay. That's agreeable. Hear no objection, then proceed with it.
That's all I have for you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Broad, we appreciate your presence. Road vacation on County Road 731, Mr. Luther, I understand this public hearing.
Yes, sir. We are scheduled to hold a public hearing today on the request of Mr. John Jones to vacate a portion of County Road 731, which leads up to Sequoia Caverns. Mr. Jones is the owner of all of that property surrounding this. It's the dead-end portion that leads up into the park. The public notice has ran in the paper as required by law. Mr. Jones was the only property owner, so there were no other adjoining landowners. So I would ask that we open up the floor for anyone to speak on this.
Thank you, Mr. Luther. Is anyone here to speak concerning the County Road 731 vacation process? Don't believe there's anyone here, Mr. Brown, or Mr. Luther.
If not, then it would be my recommendation that we pass a resolution to vacate this portion of County Road 731.
Any question concerning the resolution of vacation? If not, then I hear a motion that President and the Administrator be authorized to sign the resolution. Do you hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Your second? Second. Motion second, any discussion? Any in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you, motion carries. Speed limit resolution, Mr. Luther.
Yes, sir. Mr. Wooten had asked me to take a look at County Road 709. I believe some residents had talked to him concerned about the speed limit or the speeding on this road. I have looked at it. It is a paved road that is not currently posted, so by law, the speed limit would be 45. That is much too high for this road due to its horizontal and vertical alignments and its general condition. It would be my recommendation that we post this road at 15 miles per hour. I have a resolution here, I believe Mr. Sharp may have it as well, so we'll need to pass a resolution setting that speed limit at 15 miles an hour.
Thank you, Mr. Luther. Mr. Wood, you have any question or any comment concerning the vacation? The speed limit resolution.
I would say thank you to Mr. Luther for jumping on this and getting on it as quick as he did. That road, as many of you know which road that is, goes pretty much straight uphill, and it has a few houses on it with several kids that is pretty close to the road, and I feel like that is a good idea to try to slow that traffic down, because if you start up at the top of the hill and you start down, you can pick up a lot more speed than you realize. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Would you put that in form of a motion?
I would.
Your second? Motion second, any discussion? Any in favor, let it know by saying aye. Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luther. Damage claim, Mr. Sharp.
We have a claim from William Miller of County Road 751 down here. His claim is that County Road Department employee mowing near his home threw rocks and other debris toward his mobile home causing damages. I would recommend you send this to our insurance company to find this position.
Thank you, Mr. Sharp. Any questions concerning the damage claim? If not, then do I hear a motion to honor Mr. Sharp's request to forward this to insurance carrier?
So moved.
Your second? Motion second, any discussion? Any in favor, let it know by saying aye. Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you, motion carries. Number 4 is rural public transportation, Mr. Sharp.
Ms. Brewer requested some training at Gainesville State Park, November 13th to 15th is the 2014 management training workshop for public transportation agencies, mandatory meeting. Requested we authorize this travel.
Okay. Any questions concerning Ms. Brewer's request? If not, then do I hear a motion we honor Mr. Sharp's request? Your second?
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Any in favor, let it Patrick, or the DeKalb County Park Board, Mr. Caldwell.
Yes, I spoke with Mr. Chandler last week, where I understand that the board appointment was up on him, and he was still concerned and wanted to be on that board, so I would like to do my recommendation, we reappoint Mr. Boyce Chandler to the park board.
Hear Mr. Caldwell's request, Mr. Chandler, any question concerning the request? If there is no question, then do I hear a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion second, in discussion. Any in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Kilpatrick Fire Department Board, Mr. Caldwell.
Yeah, I attended the board meeting last night, and Mr. Jimmy Williams, he asked that we accept his resignation, and then talking with the board members and talking to Jennifer Oliver, I would like to make the recommendation to y'all that we accept his resignation and appoint Jennifer Oliver to replace him on the board.
We'll do this in two motions. You want to make a motion to accept Mr. Williams' resignation?
Yes.
Motion to accept Mr. Williams' resignation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion second, in discussion. Many in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you. Now, motion to appoint Mrs. Oliver to the board. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Your second.
Second.
Motion second, in discussion. Many in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Personnel payroll, Mr. Sharp.
I request that we regrade the payroll manager position from grade 8 to grade 8A based on the number of employees that we've doubled the number of employees in the last 6 years, basically jail and other things, and increased responsibilities. But that would be my request.
You hear Mr. Sharp's request. Any questions concerning the request? If not, then do you hear a motion to honor Mr. Sharp's request?
So moved.
Your second.
Second.
Motion second, in discussion. Many in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you, motion carries. Housekeeping personnel. During the last several years, Mr. Rayford O'Tanker has been a great employee for us here in housekeeping, but due to his health, he has had to retire, and he has contacted me and asked me to inform you how much he appreciated getting to work for us all these years, but health issues has forced him to come to this conclusion. So it would be my recommendation that we accept Mr. O'Tanker's resignation at this time. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Hear a second?
Second.
Motion second, in discussion. Many in favor, let it know by saying aye. Anyone opposed, state your objection. Also, my recommendation would be, we've been using since the months that Mr. O'Tanker's been out, Mrs. Deb Davis. She's done just a wonderful job, and she's works through us through the temporary employee service that we have here. And it would be my recommendation that we replace Mr. O'Tanker's position with Mrs. Deb Davis. Any questions concerning that? If not, then do I hear a motion that we replace Mr. O'Tanker with Mrs. Davis? Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Your second?
Second.
Motion second, in discussion. Many in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state your objection. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Mr. O'Tanker's done a great job. His health has deteriorated to the degree that he couldn't work anymore, and we just wish him well. And he's been a great asset to our building here. He did such a good job, and we just wish him the best in days to come. And Ms. Davis is just an exceptional employee. Proved that, and so we're appreciative of people like this that work
How many
hard.
years did it take to count?
I would think about 8, something like that. That was close. I've been down here a long time. He came sometime about 8 or 9 years ago. All right, A-Trip bond issue. We're going to have Mr. Ken Thunderberg with us today to assist us in our A-Trip bond issue for some of the big projects we've got coming up in the next couple of years. And we're appreciative of him taking his time to come. And Mr. Thunderberg, we're going to give you the opportunity to come and
so much, Mr. President. It's always good to be with each of you anytime, but particularly this morning in capacity representing Merchant Capital and the work that we have just done to complete the general obligation bond issue on your behalf, to leverage on the A-TRIP, the A-TRIP funds, that wonderful program that this county, I know, and the leadership here and the Association of County Commissions were so involved in working with, and that has been a wonderful program, and we're glad to see you taking such great advantage of it here with these matching funds. So we were very pleased to recently sell general obligation warrants in the amount of $3 million to cover your particular, your match component. Debt extends for 15 years, which is agreed with what Matt outlined for us. Interest rate was very favorable at slightly over 3%. So we hit the market at a good time. Market was not too crowded, and we were able to get out there with these bonds. Everything that's going on in the world and in Washington, the number of issues were not too voluminous then. So we hit the market at a great moment, and we're able to lock in those rates. It's just a beautifully run county. Those are not just my thoughts, but the thoughts of Moody's Investor Service, your rating agency as well. They again assigned and confirmed an A1 solid rating for this county, which is a great accomplishment. Some of the things that Moody's cites are the strong reserve levels, both assigned and unassigned reserve levels that you have here in your general fund balance. Some $4.4 million, or 35% of the annual general fund revenue amounts, and then the unassigned of 21.6% of the general fund revenue amounts. They talk about the stable economy, the stable outlook going forward, an unemployment rate that is more favorable than most these days, and the manageable debt burden that this county enjoys. So for those reasons and many others, you enjoy the rating that you've been able to achieve. I want to thank Mr. President, you and Matt, of course. I know you've been through this drill several times, but the extra work and time it takes to achieve these ratings, I know you were on a call with us going through that process. Even involved Jimmy Durham here, who's a long-time economic development director, and he was able to give some facts and figures that were important to the effort as well. So I want to thank everyone for that. You make underwriter's job, I was about to say easy, but I'll just say it's not a difficult job at all really here, because you're in such good shape and so well run. So we appreciate that. I have a substantial volume of paperwork here that will require, as you see, a number of signatures. And I hope to accomplish just after this meeting. The bond attorney, very capable bond attorney, who's done several issues for you, the Birmingham office was unable to be here, not here, so I'm assigned the task of collecting these signatures. So I hope you'll bear with me just after the meeting. I will also, since they are not here, Mr. President, take the liberty of blaming them for this volume of paperwork that you have here. But we'll try to make quick work of it here this morning. So that is my brief report, unless there are any questions of me.
Mr. Funberg, we appreciate all your help you've been to us, not only today, but over the years, advising us in several areas. And for those of you that haven't dealt with Mr. Funberg and his entourage there at Merchant Capital, they're just the finest people that you can do business with. We appreciate your help, not only now, but the times past. And we thank you so much for being here today. Any questions concerning what Mr. Funberg brought to us? Thank you, anybody? Seemed like you covered it well. What do you think?
Good. Thanks again. Thanks for those kind words.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And we will attempt to sign all these documents as soon as the meeting is over. We'll ask you gentlemen to stay. We thank each one of you for being here today. Our next meeting will be November the 12th at 10 o'clock here in the chamber. That concluding our agenda. Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
So moved.
I'll say.
Being without objection, I so